have just been on a roll with all of these concealer launches, but this time I picked up by Makeup Revolution their new Conceal and Define Concealers. And this is the concealer that is going to be considered the affordable option, the drugstore option of Tarte's best-selling Shape Tape Concealer. Back in January of this year, Makeup Revolution entered in their Conceal and Define Concealer. And that concealer is marketed, it's branded as the concealer for everyone. Makeup Revolution wants that. They want that concealer that a multiple range of skin tones, multiple range of undertones can use the product. It was January 22nd. Makeup Revolution stated we're going to add 7 more shades. So now it brought the grand total up to 25 total shades, again hoping to cover a large amount of different skin tones and undertones. In September 2016, Tarte actually released their Shape Tape Concealer, and it was released with 10 shades. So it was covering light skin tones, medium, and then dark skin tones. In December of that same year of 2016, they had a second restock in which they added 4 additional shades that brought the total up to 14. Again, adding different amounts to light, medium, and the deep skin tone range. At this present date now of February 2018, the Shape Tape Concealer, the shades are still at 14. And as far as I know, they are not planning on expanding the shades. So we do have a vast difference as far as shades between the two brands, Makeup Revolution and Tarte. I ordered 3 of the concealer shades from Ulta. Now I ordered the 3 that were in the medium dark range. I wanted to have one for my own skin tone and a spot conceal, and then let's have one just as a skin lightener, or just to see, swatched for you of course, what it would look like underneath the eyes. So I chose C11, 12, and 13. Let's first take a look at shade C11. C11 is marketed as a warm undertone concealer. It is also a part of that medium dark series where you're looking at a beige undertone. I feel that it is brightening underneath my eyes, but I also feel that the actual brightening effect, I don't feel it looks natural, and that's going to be my personal preference. I want mine to look natural. If you do have a medium dark skin tone, but you have, I would say, more of a yellow base, you have more yellow in your skin or a little bit more beige, then I feel that C11 might give you that effect that you're looking for. However, if you're on a little bit more of the other end of the spectrum, in my case, even though I am, again, warm undertone, I am golden olive. I think that it just slightly tosses it off and makes it appear ashier. Again, it's going to be a personal preference, but that's just my recommendation. The next concealer shade I picked up is number C12. Now, C12 is stated as a neutral, cool undertone, and that is correct. I noticed right off the bat that this pulls a lot more pink on my skin tone than anything else that I had picked up. C12 is definitely geared to that medium dark skin tone that also pulls neutral. You might have some pink in your skin. That is going to help C12 definitely blend right in, again, as a regular skin tone shade or as your highlight underneath your eyes. The last shade I picked up is C13. This is actually going to be the shade that works the best on my particular skin tone. C13 is marketed as a warm undertone, but we're going a little bit further deeper down in the spectrum, of course. I would recommend C13 for that medium dark skin tone. You are close to me in skin tone shade, but also you're also closer towards my undertone, being that warm golden olive complexion. Now that I've picked the concealer that would work the best for my skin tone, the next step is to compare it against my existing Tarte Shape Tape. Now the shade I wear is in deep, and this is actually the only shade I have. I don't have another one as far as an eye brightener, so we're just going to look at actual skin application. We're going to look for underneath the eyes and also to spot conceal, which is what I use the deep Shape Tape for. On one side of my face, I have the C13 shade. The other side, I have the Tarte Shape Tape, and I wanted to make sure I kind of gave the same equal amount. So I'm putting on a lot more than I normally would, but I also want to kind of see, is it going to look heavier? Is it going to cover really well? Is it going to perhaps crease anything when I start to actually add more powder on top? I just wanted to kind of do a little bit more extra with these type of concealers. Now I know that baking is still fairly popular within the beauty community. I myself, I do what I consider is preheat. If I do any type of baking at all, I just don't want it to be looking dry underneath my eyes. For this application test, I wanted you to see, let's say you do bake. I wanted to see how it would look if I did leave it on for, you know, a considerable amount of time. So I did take my Laura Mercier loose setting powder and applied it to both of underneath the eyes. I think I left it on for probably 5 minutes. It was close to a few minutes. I think, let's just say 5 minutes. After I brushed them both off, here is a close-up of what it looks like just in that general region. Both sides, I felt, look fine. Not one looked like, I would say, cakier than the other. Not one looked drier than the other. In this close-up shot, I want you to take a look at both under eyes, because I definitely feel in this close-up shot that one concealer covers not only the best underneath my eyes, it still looks smooth and so forth, but it covers, you know, that line that you have underneath that little bag area. I feel that one concealer covers better than the other. That concealer was the Makeup Revolution, so that one I felt covered that under eye area, and again the line, much better than the Tarte Shape Tape. The next area in which I noticed a difference with the concealer is the overall texture, and I feel that that might have been an indication of the actual coverage between the two. I'm not certain. When I first applied the Makeup Revolution underneath my eyes, it reminded me of chocolate pudding, that feeling of chocolate pudding. Just, of course, you know, when you're putting it on your tongue and you're eating it, it has that creamy feel to it, as if you're kind of, well, spreading it on your eye area. So I noticed that it felt very creamy. Tarte Shape Tape feels creamy too, but see, I don't spread it underneath my eye. I always usually just dot it because I feel that a little goes a long way. I don't like to use a lot of it, but I just noticed that there was that difference there. But this also brings me to my last point, is I felt that I had time, a little bit more time to blend out the Makeup Revolution concealer versus the Tarte Shape Tape. And that was a huge factor as far as me noticing that off the bat. I noticed that the Shape Tape, I was like, oh, this is kind of drying a lot more faster than the Makeup Revolution, now that I have something to kind of compare it to. So just a little bit of a comparison right there. And then the last factor is going to be ingredient-wise and kind of just the overall brand lifestyle. I'm going to say it like that because I was trying to find out some information on Makeup Revolution. I noticed when I looked at the ingredients for both concealers, they both share 10 of the same ingredients and up at the top of the list. So that's actually good. That kind of shows to me that the Makeup Revolution concealer can definitely compete against the Tarte Shape Tape. I also noticed that the, I'm going to say like the plant-based type of ingredients that is in a Shape Tape, so if it's like coming from a particular plant, if it's coming from a particular seed, or I believe it said shea butter. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. It has shea butter in it. So there's a certain amount of those type of ingredients in the Shape Tape. But when I looked at the Makeup Revolution one, the one that stood out the most to me was rosehip oil. And I actually love rosehip oil. It's something that I do use in my skincare routine and is a natural form of an antioxidant. So that actually made me feel happy. Now, I know that Tarte is a cruelty-free company, and I didn't know if Tarte, like all of their ingredients in all of their products are vegan, because I just didn't know that. So I started to Google, kind of do a little bit of research on that, and I came across a blog. I've never heard of her before, and I never heard of her blog. I believe it's called Logical Harmony. Let me look at the screen. It's right there. Yeah, Logical Harmony. I was getting lost up on her blog. I was like, okay, I got to get off so I can film this. Tarte is owned by a Japanese company, and it's a Japanese company that, to my knowledge, they do test on animals. So I don't really know how that is fitting into the structure, but it is something that I just want you to know. But it also, if I'm comparing Tarte to Makeup Revolution, to be honest, I couldn't get a real answer. I believe the brand is owned by TAM Beauty. Now, TAM Beauty stated, yes, we are cruelty-free, and yes, we do not test on animals. But it was still hard to find like an answer, is my point. So I personally don't know what the big secret is. You either are or you're not. So I also couldn't find their name on Logical Harmony's blog, Makeup Revolution. So I don't know. I'm going to say, based on what I looked at, based on her blog as well. Again, I don't know how reputable her blog is because I don't know her. This is my first time ever finding out about her. I'm going to just assume, and it's my own personal assumption, that Makeup Revolution is not cruelty-free and they're not vegan. So there is a difference there. If that is the case, there's a difference between that brand against Tarte. And again, I just want you to know, because I feel I have viewers, I'm sure I do, that watch, and maybe that is part of your lifestyle and that's a part of your beliefs. I definitely want you to have that information. Based on this concealer comparison, I am very, very pleased with the Conceal and Define by Makeup Revolution. Not only does it conceal under the eyes well, it also covers up hyperpigmentation. It covers up dark spots. I had to build it up 2 times, just a little bit on the second time, but it did cover up my dark spots. With Shape Tape, same aspect. I will have to kind of use a little bit more on that second application. So as far as covering dark marks, these two are just right up there. So it's nice to know we have another option now if the Shape Tape is definitely not within your budget, your beliefs, of course, your lifestyle. You have another option here. But again, you know, you just have to kind of pick and choose which one do you feel that would be best suited for you, your wallet, your budget, of course, and again, your beliefs and your lifestyle. And that's it. Those are my thoughts and opinions on Makeup Revolution's new Conceal and Define Concealer. And you can now purchase the concealers online at Ulta Beauty. So if you do have any questions or something I maybe might have left out for you, please leave them as comments down in the comment section, and I will get back with you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and as always, and I do appreciate it, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, everyone.